Hi, my name is Jasmine Felton, and I'm here to propose a voice over internet protocol system for Nightingale Nurses. Nightingale Nurses is a medium-sized healthcare staffing agency that was established in 2003. When the company first opened its doors 10 years ago, it specialized in IT, allied health, and nursing staffing. But in 2012, it had to close its IT and allied health divisions to focus solely on nursing. Its corporate office is located in Boca Raton, and it's comprised of departments such as recruiting, credentials, and account management. These departments work together every day to communicate with over 1,000 nurses and healthcare facilities throughout the United States. Its largest department is its recruiting department, which is made up of between 40 to 50 people at any point during a year, and its IT department is only comprised of 2 people. Now we'll take a look at the problem that Nightingale Nurses is facing. The corporate office is currently using a traditional packet switch telephone network, also known as PSTN, which is your basic telephone system. This system is costing the company $10,000 a month. And with the increasing amount of new entrants into the healthcare staffing sector each year, the company needs to find a way to decrease costs. The company is also noticing that they're having an increase in outgoing calls, which is increasing costs as well, but productivity is remaining the same. Now moving on to the project description. So I would like to implement a voice over IP system to replace the current PSTN network. Voice over IP is used to manage the transfer of voice information via the internet. I'd also like to implement a push-to-dial feature to automatically dial numbers in the company's database so that there's more control over the numbers that are dialed outgoing. Now let's look at the project scope. So Nightingale Nurses would choose a vendor to supply the equipment for the new phone system. They'd purchase new branch exchange and phones for the entire company. They'd replace and create the existing phone business rules on the new phone system, and then train users on the new system before the go live. So we'll take a look at the project timeline. Initially, the new phones would be rolled out into all departments other than the recruiting department. And this is due to the other departments' smaller size, ease of configuration, and ease of rolling back to the new phone system. Let's look at the phases. So phase 1 involves determining the specifications of the new system. So determining the business requirements, approving them, also receiving quotes, and this is also the phase where they will narrow down and choose a specific supplier. Phase 2 involves the installation of the phones in all departments except for the recruiting department. All management, including those in recruiting, would be trained. The staff would be trained as well in all departments except for recruiting, and then any troubleshooting. Then phase 3, they would install the phones in the recruiting department, and this is where we're still dialing using the phones. They would train the rest of the staff on how to use the new phones and also do any troubleshooting. And then in phase 4, they would integrate the software, the click to dial feature, train all management and train all staff in the company, and then also do any troubleshooting. Now for the project decision. Now the company needs to narrow down and select a specific vendor. And then after they do that, they need to decide whether they want to outsource the implementation of the voice over IP to the vendor or implement the project in-house by the IT department. So we'll look at a comparison of the alternatives. The companies we decided to look at were ShoreTel, Avaya, and Cisco, and we're going to compare that to the current PSTN system. So first we'll take a look at the total cost of ownership for the first year using the vendor for installation, configuration, and training. So first we'll do is add the acquisition costs, which are comprised of the cost for the phones, the equipment, installation, configuration, and training, and add that to the maintenance and usage costs for a year. And we'll see that the total cost of ownership for 1 year for ShoreTel is $73,500, Avaya is $75,200, Cisco is $87,680, and we'll compare that to the current PSTN system, which is costing $120,000 a year. So now we'll compare that to the total cost of ownership for the first year of keeping installation, configuration, and training in-house. So we'll add those same acquisition costs, but now installation, configuration, and training is only $1,000 across the board. And we'll add that to the maintenance and usage costs. So total cost of ownership for 1 year for ShoreTel is now $68,400. Avaya is $69,400. Cisco is $73,680, and the current PSTN system is still $120,000 a year. Moving on to the financial consequences. So we'll look at a cost-benefit analysis for using the vendor for installation, configuration, and training, and we'll see that the initial investment needed is $50,700. And at the end of the 4 years, there will be a cumulative benefit of $246,900. And the company would make back its initial investment in 0.68 years. Now, if we keep installation, configuration, and training in-house, the initial investment needed is only $45,600. And at the end of 4 years, there will be a cumulative benefit of $252,000 compared to what the company is spending now on the current system. And the initial payback period for the initial investment is 0.61 years. Now we'll move on to intangible benefits. If we switch over to the voice over IP system, there would be an increase in employee productivity. And this is due to the push to dial feature, and then also calls being able to be monitored to make sure that that employees are not placing personal calls during working hours. There would be improved employee communication, as with the voice over IP system, it's easier to dial extension to extension internally. There would be an integration with the registered nurse and facility database using the click to dial feature, and there would be a flexible and mobile workforce, as calls would be able to be forwarded to any place that there is computer accessibility. Now we'll look at the risk analysis. First, if we have the IT implement the voice over IP system in-house, the IT department would be taken away from their normal tasks. And this would cause delays in either the voice over IP implementation or other tasks that they may be assigned to. Now, the probability of this is a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10 because the department only composes of 2 people. So to help with this, all employees in the company will need to be informed of the consequences of the loss of the resources. Second, the new call system may not quite meet expectations. Now, the likelihood of this happening is pretty low, but if it does happen, there is an increase in costs and there is an inconvenience to the company. Now, to help out with this, just in case this does happen, the old phone system, won't be trashed, but it will remain in place just in case there's the need to fall back on it for several months. Next, the management or other employees may not fully accept the new phone system at first. The chance of this happening is pretty high. This could cause decreased morale and productivity in the company, but to help with this, you can continuously inform, communicate, and interact with employees to address any concerns or meet any needs that they may have about the new system. And lastly, some of the existing phone business functions cannot be created on the new phone system, and this would cause an increase in training for employees. The likelihood of this happening is a little low. This is because before you purchase the new phone system, you test and work with the vendors to determine what the new phone system can do and what it cannot do. Now moving to the sensitivity analysis. So just in case the numbers are a little off and there is a higher cost for maintenance and usage costs. We'll take a look at the numbers if there's a 40% increase in those costs. So we'll see that now with using a vendor for installation configuration and training, the company will take 0.83 years to get their initial investment back. And then if they were to keep it in-house, they'll get the initial investment back in 0.75 years. Right, now moving on to the recommendation. I recommend that the company chooses ShoreTel as the vendor, as they are the least expensive. And then we'll choose to outsource the installation configuration and training to the supplier. Although it does cost less to do it in-house, because the IT department only comprises of 2 people, there's a pretty high chance that it will delay the voice over IP implementation or cause delays in other parts of the company. But thank you very much.